Cheese! Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rochelle, for those of you who don't already know me. So, quick backstory. I am a Jamaican Canadian who moved to Africa, which is kind of crazy. And I've been here for approximately 5 years-ish. So, of course, you were the title of this video, and I'm going to give you guys a comparison because I lived in Ghana previously and I'm now living in Lagos. So I wanted to compare the two and give you all my thoughts on what living in either country has been like for me personally. Okay, so it's funny because I feel like Ghana and Nigeria have this like ongoing feud or something. So as similar as they are, there are also a lot of differences, you know. So I hope I don't add fuel to the fire today. Anyways, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so when I post, y'all get the notification. Yeah, but without any further ado, let's just get into it. So as I mentioned before, I moved to Ghana approximately 5 years ago, and I spent about 4 years there, give or take. While I was there, I started a burger restaurant with my partner, and the idea was to also start one here in Nigeria, and it's coming. So that is the main reason why I ended up in Lagos. So I have 2 children as well. Well, actually, I have 3. Totally forgot about that last one. No, I had 2 children when I first moved to Ghana, and now I've had another one. Bop bop. Aw, so cute. So yes, I have 3 children. So I'm just putting things into context for you to, you know, just give you a little idea of where I'm coming from, like as a mom and everything like that. Okay, so let's get into it. These are in no particular order. I just kind of listed a few things that I thought I could touch on. The overall environment. So I have to say a major thing as well. I'm comparing the 2 major cities, I guess. So Accra is the capital of Ghana, and Abuja is the capital here, but Lagos is like the popular city central that most people are familiar with. And then within Lagos, you have the islands. So I live on the islands. So it's islands versus the mainland, and they're pretty different places to live, you know? So my experience has only been on the islands. I've only lived here, so I know the mainland is different. I haven't experienced that. So when I'm referring to Lagos, I'm referring to the islands. And when I refer to Ghana, I'm referring to Accra, the main city. Environment-wise, the islands is quite damp, okay? From what I understand, it was a swamp converted into a livable, you know, city, but it was a swamp. So it's quite dampy. And in my house, you know, if the AC is not running for a couple days or something like that, you will see the effects of the damp. The walls will peel, you know, things will get moldy. So that's annoying. In Ghana, I did not have that problem. And maybe in Accra, you might have that issue if you're close to the water. I did not live close to the water, so I never experienced that. Also, for example, you're going to have bumpy roads in Ghana and Nigeria. Where I live, the roads be rocky out here. I live a little bit outside of the like center of the city, just a little bit, like 10 minutes out. But over here, it's a little bit roughy, a little bit rocky. So of course there are areas with nicer paved roads and smooth roads, but I'll say they're tied for good roads, bad roads. I don't think either or has less or more, you know, worse roads than each other. So I'll say that. One thing that I really appreciate about Ghana versus Nigeria is the electricity. In Ghana, it's called ECG. In Accra, it's NEPA. So NEPA is not provided consistently at all. It goes off every single day, whereas in Accra, you know, the electricity is constant, and there would be times where there wouldn't be any electricity, but it's not as bad as here. So if you're going to live in Lagos, you have to have a generator. I lived in Accra without a generator. I didn't have a generator. So when the electricity went out, okay, we would just be in the dark, you know, but that wasn't that often. Like, it was not that often. But you cannot survive without a generator of some sort here, because yeah, NEPA, it just comes whenever it wants and goes whenever it wants. They do have like tiers of electricity provision, so depending on where you live, there will be more NEPA. You know, there's like A, B, C, or D. I think I'm on B, like Schedule B they call it. So I do get NEPA, you know, a couple times a week, but yeah, it's just not enough. You need to have a generator, or you need to have a solar system or a battery system to survive. So that's frustrating. Also, where I live, I don't know if it's the whole island, guys. Chime in here in the comment section, but the water is pretty crazy. So most estates have like a water treatment thing to provide water to the estate. Yeah, but the water is pretty bad. So at one point in my estate, the water filter broke or something, and the water was like stinky. It was stinky, guys. I didn't even want to tell people because it was just so horrific that the estate didn't have like clean water. And it was like that for like a week. And I was bathing with sachet water, like boiling water. And even now that the water filter has been replaced, the water is still, it's not the cutest. It's not the cutest. So those are things you may have to deal with in comparison to Ghana. I've absolutely never had a water issue in Ghana. The water has never been smelly or looked dirty or anything like that. That's just my experience, guys. I'm not putting down the whole country. I'm just telling you what I have been through personally. Okay, guys? So calm down. Yes, but I have heard, I don't know if it's the islands in general that has like a really big water issue, like water sanitation issue. Or I don't know if it's the whole of Lagos. I don't know if the mainland also experiences this with water, but that's been my experience. So, yeah. So overall, if I compare Ghana to Nigeria as well, Nigeria gives me like a wannabe New York vibe. I want to say wannabe, I just think there's so much concrete, lots of tall buildings, you know? And I say wannabe because there's no electricity, or not no electricity, but, you know, it can be a little up and down. But Ghana, in comparison, Ghana gives me island vibes. It gives me like Jamaica vibes. That's how it feels to be there. I find there's more greenery in Ghana. And of course, the population in Ghana and Nigeria is very, very different. Millions more people here in Nigeria than Ghana. So, you know, naturally, it's gonna be a little bit quieter in Ghana, which I did enjoy that quiet, that tranquility. It was very peaceful, you know, and I think that's why people actually do love Ghana so much as well, because it is like an island vibe. It's relaxing, it's chill, you know, whereas Nigeria is very fast paced. There's a lot of people, there's a lot going on, which is also something I really love about Nigeria in comparison to Ghana. But an increased population is going to mean an increased level of activity in town, right? So it's like louder here in Nigeria, in Lagos anyway. That's what I was saying. It's like New York. New York is very kind of loud, like all around. Like you can hear people hustling, bustling, and you can hear cars beeping. That's how Nigeria is. Next point is renting. So I'm going to talk about renting because that's my experience. I've never purchased here or there, so I'm just going to tell you what I've been through. And renting in Lagos is a nightmare. It's an actual nightmare. It took us like 6 months to secure a place to rent. It's like applying for a job that everybody wants. And then the landlord or the property manager they don't even like get back to you to let you know if you've won the place. Like, it's like a lottery, guys, and it's just like crazy. Even my friend, she's renting a place right now, and a funny example is she had like, for some reason here, you need to have a man on your thing. If you're just a woman, who cares if you have a job or you're a billionaire? You have to have a man on your application. Even this application thing is crazy. Like, you have to fill out this long application like you're really applying for a job. And it's just crazy. Now, in comparison to Accra, I've never had an issue finding a place to rent, except for like maybe being picky about what place I want to choose. Also, there's no form to fill out. You tell them you want the place and you give them the money. And that's pretty much it. They'll give you a lease agreement, but yeah, that's all. And also, then these fees are just really also kind of crazy. So there's 10% fees, and then also depending on where it is you want to live in Lagos, I want to say the islands anyway, the estate will charge like a diesel fee because most estates will have a generator on the compound to supply you with electricity in the absence of NEPA. So that diesel amount is like just another amount. So let's say the rent is like 10 million, which is like maybe 8,000 US or something like that, or 7,000 something US for the year. That sounds great. Like, ooh, 7,000 for the year, 6,000 for the year, whatever. But then when you start adding all these fees, so there's 10% caution. So the caution fee is the security deposit. So it's 10%. And then you pay legal. So you pay a lawyer to look over your stuff, which is also 10%. And then you obviously give your agent 10%. So that 10 million turns into 15 million. And of course, after that, you have to buy your AC unit. You have to maybe buy your own generator system or battery or solar, whatever it is you might have to get. So just on top of your rent, it can just like double. It's just doubling, you know? And I've never experienced that in Accra. The places I've lived have all had an AC unit. And I told you the ECG, which is the electricity in Ghana, is just a lot better. So I've never had to get a generator either. So it's just seemingly a bit more cost efficient renting in Ghana, at least in my experience. Also, there is absolutely no way, almost pretty much, yeah, no way, no one's going to accept less than a 12-month commitment. In Ghana, I've gotten away so many times with 6 months. I've never paid a year up front in my life. I've always paid 6 months, and it's been acceptable. So that's also, you know, a challenge coming here to Lagos, finding somewhere to live. And even my friend, when she was looking, like, you apply for a place and they don't even, like, you call them to find out, like, if you've been selected, and they don't even, like, update you to say, like, no, we haven't selected you, please move on, you know? So you're kind of left in limbo, not knowing how to proceed if you're looking for a different place or if you've gotten another offer. You know, you're trying to find out, like, did I get it? So that's a bit annoying. So, exactly. And also, when you're renting in Accra and Lagos, you do have to come with your own, like, appliances. You have to bring your own, like, fridge or washing machine, which, yeah, that's different from the West, I think. I mean, at least in Canada, houses normally come with all that type of stuff. Yeah. Okay, so social life. I think both countries are pretty big on, like, social life, like getting together, hanging out, going out. Like, it's a lot more social in Ghana and Nigeria in comparison to Canada. You know what I mean? That's what I feel anyway, in my experience. There's a lot more going on in Lagos, like, all the time. So it's like it's always December. Okay, not December, because December is extremely busy, but there's always something going on, like, you know, Whereas Ghana, I think kind of like once December's over, the town is pretty quiet. Like nothing else is really going on. So that is a big difference. Like here, there's always something that you can get into, something to do, something that you can be a part of. So it's pretty busy here and it's very active, which I really, really appreciate. Ghana's a bit more sleepy. It's a bit more slow. Yeah, after the Christmas rush, you can just, hibernate for the rest of the year until next year. That's what I perceive anyway. So I think that's good, and that's also great for business because if you are doing business here, you won't experience too much of a slow period. Whereas in Ghana, even with like the burger restaurant, after January, February, everything was very, very slow, very quiet, So it's good for business here in Lagos just to have that like constant flow of like activity and human interaction. Yeah. Also socially, like when it comes to children, I think Ghana was more friendly for children. Wherever I lived, my son Jordan could go outside. And when I mean outside, I mean like outside of my compound. Like he could leave the compound and I was never worried at all. He would ride his bike around the area and I felt safe about that. And there would be other kids that he could play with, other like local children. And they weren't, of course, as privileged as Jordan or us, but they were still able to socialize with Jordan. Like Jordan could still be their friend and it would make sense still. Whereas here, I wouldn't really let him like ride his bike outside of the compound. And I don't know if it's like maybe just where I live, but I don't think it's likely that he'll find other children that he can be compatible with on a social level to be friends with, like to vibe with. And it's not about being prejudiced or anything like that, but their experiences are so different, it'll be more difficult for him to relate and be friends with certain children. Do you get it? He had friends in Ghana who were not as privileged, but they could still relate to each other. Like they still understood each other, and Jordan enjoyed playing with those kids. And when it comes to like teenagers, because my daughter is a teenager, she, I think, has a more difficult time finding friends. And someone explained to me that Nigerian culture, they mostly do send their children away, like to boarding school. So there might not be children like in town like that. Whereas in Ghana, Naomi was more easily able to make friends, like outside and find friends. And I haven't had a ton of experience to really talk about this, but I'm not sure if the Nigerian boys and girls are as accommodating to try to make you comfortable or be your friend, So, I don't know. Comment down below. Are Ghanaian youth more friendly or are Nigerian youth more friendly and more accommodating? So you guys let me know, but just from what I've seen, I kind of feel like Ghanaian young people are more accommodating. Also, socially, I think status is more of a thing here in Nigeria or Lagos, the islands. Yes, and there's a lot more social, I think, groups. Is that what I'd call it? Social groups? In Ghana, I think everyone who's anyone knows everyone, So once you're in that circle, I think for the most part, you've met, like, most of the other people in the circle, where I feel like here in Lagos, there's so many different circles that it's possible to continue to meet people that are on your same social level. It's weird to even say that. So there's a lot of people here. Yeah, so there's different social circles. Yes. So I find that is a big difference comparing to Ghana. And also, like, for example, everyone here has a driver. And in Ghana, I didn't really remember a lot of people having drivers. A lot of people drove themselves. A lot of people drove their own vehicle, you know? Whereas here, I think there's like a driver culture here, more for sure. The traffic here is a little bit crazy, so maybe the reason why that is, it might be just too much of a headache to be driving yourself, which I totally understand. It can be just very stressful. So maybe after a long day of work, you do not want to fight in traffic again just to get home. So maybe that's where the driver comes in, which kind of does make sense now that I kind of, think about why that might be. Another interesting thing about, I want to say Africa in general, is if you come from the West to Nigeria or Ghana, you're gonna naturally be placed in the higher social something. I don't even know the word right now, guys. I'm gonna get the word. Status. You're gonna have a higher social status coming from the West, I think. And it's easy to be in the same places as celebrities or famous people, So I went somewhere and Portia Williams was right there, I don't know how common it is to run into celebrities in the West, but here it's just very common. Burna Boy will be somewhere, or Wizkid, and you'll be there too, So that's also an interesting thing, and that kind of happened both here in Lagos and in Accra. You'll go somewhere and there's a famous person or, celebrity or musician or artist. So that's such an interesting thing overall in both Lagos and Accra. Okay, so I'm done with the social topic. Now we'll talk about living expenses. I think things are a little bit more affordable here in Lagos comparing to Accra. Yeah, things are getting very expensive in Accra, and I think because there's a lot of attention on Accra right now, and it's a good place to start if you're coming to Africa for the first time. Accra is a great place to start your continental journey in Africa. And I think due to that, they're able to maybe, raise their prices to accommodate the American dollar or the British pound, So I think that plays a factor in why things seem to be expensive in Ghana. Yes, you have a lot of expats here in Lagos as well, but things are still relatively more affordable here than in Accra. So I'll give you an example. At one point, a handful of tomatoes in Accra was $5, whereas here you can get a bucket of tomatoes for $5. Plantain, I eat plantain all the time. I'm just using common everyday stuff. Yeah, so those are more expensive in Ghana. A little bit more affordable here. But getting foreign products, maybe American groceries, those are going to be approximately the same price, I think. You are going to get more variety of things that you're looking for here, I think. Yes, just because, again, due to the population, you'll be able to find more of what you're looking for. And also, it's not online shopping, it's more like Instagram shopping. You find places that have what you want on Instagram, and you basically order from Instagram. That's where I order a lot of my clothes. I also use Gigi to find things that I need or services. So Gigi is like Craigslist or Kijiji, and I use that sometimes, and I've never had an issue with anything on there. So yeah, you have to be a little bit creative with shopping. It is not like in the West, you go to the shopping mall and you have Bed Bath & Beyond, or you have HomeSense or Walmart. Unfortunately, it's not like that. Ghana had a good art alternative. It was called Melcom. It did have, it was a very, large shopping place. It had a lot of variety. I think that was the closest you can get to Walmart, Melcom and Palace Mall were the two places. Here, there's also a lot of variety of shopping malls or stores. So it just depends on what it is you're looking for. They do have stores that cater more toward like foreign goods, American goods, UK goods. And then you have like your more local-ish kind of grocery stores. There is a larger variety here, I would say. Also, importing a vehicle into Nigeria is, I think, cheaper actually. So that's something that can play a role into, your lifestyle, depending on what you want to do or what you want to buy. I know you can get a car into Nigeria a little bit easier or cheaper. Yeah. And then overall lifestyle, I think that you can have a good time in both places. It just depends on the lifestyle you're looking for. If you're looking for a calm, quieter time, more laid back, relaxed, it's definitely Ghana. If you're looking to keep busy or make money from a business, I think you would do better here in Lagos. Another thing I want to say is Lagos has a boating lifestyle, like a boating culture, which Accra doesn't have. And it could have that. I guess they just don't care, The beaches here in Lagos, to me, are really nice and, planned and thought out. I think in comparison to Accra, again, I prefer these beaches. So those are also things that you might want to consider. I love the boating life. I literally love it so much. So that's one thing that excites me about being here, just being able to be a part of that culture because I really do enjoy it. I would say Ghana is overall more family friendly than Nigeria. If you don't mind your kid going outside and playing on the road or on the streets, like you can do that in Ghana. I'm not so sure about doing that here in Lagos yet. And I think Nigeria in general just has a bad reputation for danger, or I don't even want to say it, but people talk about kidnapping and all that type of stuff, which I don't want to reinforce that thought because I just think that those types of things, okay, they happen everywhere, but I don't think it's relative to this area, I want to say. Like, I don't know if Lagos is so much a part of that or if it's different parts of Nigeria. Like, Nigeria is such a big country. Like, it's literally an enormous country. So it's hard to blanket statement things that happen in Nigeria because there's just so many parts of Nigeria. So you can't really just make a statement that Nigeria is dangerous. Well, okay, relative to where you're living. So that's what I would say. The thing that I like about Lagos, it's very motivating to live here because there's just so much going on. There's so many opportunities and it's just very inspiring. Whereas Ghana, it's quiet. So overall, you're not going to be met with a ton of activity, I guess, or inspiration. There's just not a ton going on. So, your brain isn't turning in that way. Whereas here, I kind of feel like you're always met with something new. And yeah, it's new and it's inspiring, I would say. And there's a lot of, I think, visual success, I think. Like, I know there's success in Ghana, people doing big things or important things. I just think here in Lagos, you see it more, like it's more in your face. So yeah, it just kind of feels good to see, your people doing their thing and doing it, big and like ambitious. Also, I want to apologize for that generator that you hear. There's no power. So someone has a generator in the compound, even though it's technically not allowed, but they doing whatever they want to do. Okay, so I also want to just barely touch on food. I will say, I think like local food in Ghana is better. So I 1,000 times prefer Ghana jollof. Sorry guys. You guys can't be mad at me. But Ghana jollof from anywhere is pretty much good. I've had jollof here, and I think they use this type of rice grain that I don't like. It's very like mushy. Yeah. So I prefer like jasmine rice, which is I think what they use in Ghana to make their jollof and just make rice in general. Yeah. Sorry guys. Sorry. And sorry. I think yeah, I don't know. So don't kill me, Nigeria. But yeah, Ghana jollof is better. Even like when I order like chicken from just like I don't want to say a local, but let's say local, like Chop Shop or whatever. I don't understand why Nigeria is doing the chicken like this. The chicken is like fried, and it's fried like dry. Like they just dry it out, like when they fry it. I'm sorry, I had to be very dramatic to really emphasize how dry it is. Whereas, you know, in Ghana, the chicken is grilled and it's so juicy and moist and just well seasoned. So, yes, sorry guys. And there's only like one chicken option in the chop shops here in Nigeria, in Lagos. Like, they don't have like, ooh, a fried chicken and a grilled chicken. They just have this one fried chicken, and it's kind of like, go away. Go away. This is the chicken you're getting from us. It kind of feels like that. Yeah. And I don't know, they also do turkey. Like, they like turkey here. So maybe, like, that's why they're not really putting any effort into the chicken, because it's about the turkey. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Sorry, guys. Yeah. And, like, yeah, I like it. Of course, there's continental food here. And I believe there's way more options here in Lagos. And I believe they're more affordable in general than Accra, like continental, you know, places. So one of my favorite places to go is Cafeteria. Yeah, they do it right every single time. So that's my like favorite place to go to. And I bring the kids there. There's a lot of food options in Lagos, like so many. I'm gonna have to like buckle down and go through them all. Yeah. Anyway, so I hope I've summed up enough information for you guys in my comparison of Ghana and Accra. So there's things for people to consider if they want to move to Africa in general. I would recommend starting in Ghana, but also know that the potential to do business and make money, like more money, I believe, is going to be in Nigeria. So, but yeah, I think Ghana is a great place to start, you know? So it just depends on the lifestyle that you're trying to achieve in Ghana or Nigeria. Yeah. So, yeah, that's about it. That's about it, you guys. I'm just making sure. I hope I touched everything. If you guys have any questions about anything else, you can comment down below and, you know, we can chat about it. So this is the end of this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative. And who knows, maybe I'll make another informational video, maybe in greater detail about a specific area in Lagos, in the islands, or Nigeria in general. Yeah. So yes, comment down below if there's any other type of video you guys want me to make, and you know, maybe I'll do it for you. Okay, guys, so that's it from me. Love you guys from Lagos. I hope that you guys are not going to be mad at me for liking Ghana jollof better. I'm sorry, but it is better. I'm so sorry. Like, even my children, when they tried Nigerian jollof, they were like, "Mom, what?" No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna go now. So, see you in the next video. Mwah! Love you. Bye.